What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and we have some things to talk about today. Netmarble released its Developer's Notebook today, Part 1, referring to Chapter of Struggle and Guild Raid. So let's read this and see what all entails in this thing. Good day, contenders. This is KOF All-Star Dev Team. Earlier this year, we made a promise to prepare and release new contents as well as to revamp the contents. We apologize for not being able to keep you updated. Yes, it's been a while, that's for sure. But thank you for the apology. We will want to provide news through this developer's notebook regarding existing and new content that is scheduled to revamp 3 times. The first news that we're going to share is about the new content chapter of Struggle, which is great. It's actually good that we're going to get new content because games can be pretty stale and boring if you're playing the same things over and over and over. That is being prepared. Chapter of Struggle is a breakthrough content that is progressed using the fighters that you have. It's a PvP style dungeon, which I'm hoping that means that we're going to be able to play with our guild raid members. The Yamata no Orochi event is actually really great. The problem with it was just so buggy. And if this is going to be the same problem, if we're going to have tons and tons of bugs, then it's going to be a worthless game mode. But we'll see. That utilizes the KOF All-Star original fighting sensibility and is being developed with content that defeats powerful bosses that appear on every floor. Okay, so more than likely we're going to be facing mobs of bosses on each floor as they refer to it. We're preparing this content that has a comparable volume as Tower of Trials, in which you can utilize the variety of fighters that you have grown so far. Now this is where it gets really interesting, this next paragraph. In addition, 2 new imprint stone slots will be opened to coincide with the update of the Chapter of Struggle. Various imprint stones will be added that can be equipped in the open slots, and these imprint stones can be obtained through Chapter of Struggle. So they are opening up 2 more imprint stone slots. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. We would appreciate it that if you could challenge the new content, Chapter of Struggle, using the fighters that you've grown up with. We will notify you of detailed update schedule soon. Well, as long as the rewards are worth it, we will participate. I can promise you that. Unless it's so buggy that we don't want to play it. The second news is about the upcoming update, which is all about the Guild Raid. A 3rd Guild Raid boss will be added following Omega Rugal and Lady Chang. The new Guild Raid boss is currently in the process of developing, so please look forward to it. Well, the thing about that is, whenever we had the Lady Chang Guild Raid, it lasted for a week or 2 weeks. I don't remember exactly how long it lasted the last time, but it was pretty easy. It's nothing like Lunatic or Expert or Hard Mode against Omega Rugal. It was pretty easy, and if that's all it is, it'll be a fun little game mode that we can do to get some good rewards, and that's really about it. Personally, I would like to see a different Guild Raid, like Genitz or Orochi or Ignitz or something, a different boss to fight in Guild Raid. I think would be pretty cool. And then lastly, with the end of the Boss Syndrome pickup event, we would like to hold a 7-day login event that provides event rubies to all the contenders who love the King of Fighters All-Star. Now I know some of you are going to probably look at that and think, well, you know, thanks for the rubies, but it'd been nice if we gave this during the BS banner. Well, yeah, that would be nice, but they already gave us 10,000 rubies for the banner for free, and that was pretty damn generous, so I'm okay with this. They're, you know, at least they're going to refurbish some of those rubies that you lost, which is actually still really good. Now let's talk about these 2 imprint stone slots. So I'm not really sure if this means that we're only going to be able to use the 2 open imprint stone slots for the Chapter of Struggle, or if it's going to be for the entire game. I would think it'd be for the entire game, because why would you level up these imprint stones if you're only going to be able to use them in one game mode? I mean, that game mode would have to be awful rewarding for it to be the case, and somehow I just doubt that to be true. I bet you anything, Guild Raid will probably still be #1 as far as the most rewarding game mode, but I could be wrong. So if you have 2 extra slots, well, let's talk about what the good is about that. If you have the resources to level up those imprint stones, it's going to make your life a lot easier in the game. You're going to be able to score higher in Guild Raid. You're going to be able to score higher in the Immortal Dungeons. You're going to be able to gain more CP for the Elemental Events. So you'll be able to gain more rubies. But the thing about that is, it is extremely expensive. to level up imprint stones. Now, before we dive into any more of that, I know some of you are probably thinking to yourselves, yeah, but I mean, this is massive power creep. Well, here's the thing about that. Yes, it is power creep, and every mobile game has power creep. That's just the nature of the beast. You know, first we got the BS banner with Rugal and Orochi, then we got SS Mai and SS Athena, right, who replaced them more or less, and then we got BS Chrysalid and BS Geese, who guess what? Pretty much was better than SS Mai and Athena in Guild Raid, right? Which is just the nature of mobile games. You just get power creep over time. And these imprint stones are going to be the same situation. And as far as getting beat up even faster in League, honestly, I think it's going to be about the same. Currently, at least for me, and I'm a player that has level 50 characters with max imprint stones on them, these guys can get one-shotted easily already. If I'm facing certain characters like Shane from the Seven Knights, she can one-shot me with her third skill almost every time. It's ridiculous. If Eileen gets a hold of you, boom, you're freaking dead. She hits you with that third skill, you're freaking dead. So to me, that's just going to be the same, right? It's just still going to be just one-shotting left and right. And for those of you in Championship, I don't know why I went all the way out of there, but for those of you that, you know, care about Championship, yes, when the imprint stones are being applied like they are this week, which is total trash in my opinion, then yeah, it's going to be worse. But Netmarble did promise to give us a game mode in Championship, and if you care about PvP, where you're going to be able to use just level 90 characters with their cards being applied, and then they're going to have a separate game mode, you know, for veterans, if they want to call it that, for players that want to use imprint stones. So they have one for imprint stones, and they're going to have another one for just players that want to play without imprint stones. So I'm not really too concerned about that. And bottom line, Championship doesn't really offer the greatest rewards. So for some players that are very competitive, they're going to think, oh, this really sucks. During imprint stone week, this really sucks. And I would agree with that. It does suck. But I think it sucks already just having the 3 imprint stones. It's just going to be more of a headache. You know, it means that Rite of Passage is going to get a lot harder too, to be perfectly honest. But I think a lot of players probably don't play this because it actually isn't very rewarding. I mean, you can get 3 gold hammers a day, but it really isn't that rewarding. They really need to bump up the rewards in that. And speaking of bumping up rewards, if they're going to give us 2 new imprint stone slots, right? And they're expecting us to level up 5 imprint stones on a character, and maybe it comes to a point where we need to level up 5 imprint stones for a character because currently we don't need to. Currently, in every game mode in this game, I know that I can max out every score in this game. Except for Guild Raid because it has no max score. But I can do good enough to get the Guild Raid boxes. And I know a lot of other players are in the same boat. So what that means is they're going to bring in new content. Now, what I'm thinking is, aside from the chapter of struggle that they mentioned, is they're probably going to bring in another immortal dungeon. They're probably going to bring in an immortal dungeon that has, you're going to have to use Starlight. Because so far we have all the dot effects that apply, you know, burn, poison, bleed, all of the thing, darkness, all of these get applied to enable us to do more damage to these immortal dungeons. But we don't have a Starlight boss yet. So I'm pretty much thinking that's going to be what's next. I mean, after all, they did just recently introduce King from the 7 Deadly Sins, and they just recently introduced Chrysalid. Yeah, so, you know, they want to bolster those boys, and the way to do that is give us a game mode where they're going to be even more useful, right? Because that's the way this gacha game has always worked. You know, they'll bring in a new character, and then they'll make that character really useful later on by introducing some new game mode. But back onto the reward side of things, if they're going to have us level up 5 imprint stones and we get to the point where we need to do it, because again, currently we don't need to, but if they're going to introduce new game modes where we need that extra CP, we need those extra imprint stones to use for our game modes, then they need to give us more ways to acquire gold hammers. Because currently in the game right now, it takes an eternity. We rely on these bingos, or maybe you're buying packs or whatever, to get these gold hammers. A lot of people don't spend hundreds or thousands of dollars in these games. You need to always keep these games to where the free-to-plays can still play and feel like they're not being left behind. You know, it's all good being a whale. There's nothing wrong with it, but not everybody is a whale, and not everybody wants to play like a whale. You know, a good game keeps everything balanced between the whales and the free-to-plays. So if you're going to give us 2 new imprint stone slots, which I don't have a problem with, as long as you increase the rewards. Give us more gold hammers. In fact, a really good idea just off the top of my head is increase this gold hammer pickup in this dungeon. 3 a day is shit, okay? Give us more. Let us get more gold hammers in the immortal dungeons. You know, currently if you can get 500 million, you get 6 gold hammers. Make it 10. Give us a little bit more of these, especially if you're going to have us level up more imprint stones. And they have to be, you know, we're going to have to be able to use these extra slots for multiple game modes. Because, I mean, if you're not going to be able to use, why would you level up 2 more imprint stones for 1 game mode? I mean, like I said earlier, it's going to have to be super rewarding for you to want to do that. It's going to be extremely rewarding. They're going to have guaranteed massive rewards for you in order for you to want to do that. So the 2 new slots is going to be applicable probably for all game modes. So truthfully, for me to have a really good assessment of all of this, I need to get more information from the next handbook, letting us know what, you know, the more details about what is coming. So let me know how you're all feeling about the new game mode. I mean, I am excited for that because I'm hoping that we can play with our guildmate members. That would be totally awesome. As long as it isn't buggy and we can actually play together, that would be so great. I think that would be something very beneficial for this game. I'm actually really happy that they're going to give us a Ruby login event also, but I'm a little unsure about the imprint stones slots being added until I have more information about what's going to be coming in the update. I'm just not sure about how I feel about that, except for the fact that they do need to give us more ways to farm gold hammers. And I stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.